Hello and welcome to the National History Day 2016 theme, Exploration, Encounter, and Exchange in History. Before you embark on this research journey of yours, you really need to take the time to read and reread this sheet. So let's take a few minutes to go through this together. So it reads, National History Day welcomes you to explore the theme of exploration, encounter, and exchange. So right there, they're telling you these three areas are to be addressed. And while they may tell you that you don't have to hit upon all three of them, when you do, that's where the magic happens. So if you can show that through your research, you have picked a topic that showcases exploration, encounter, and exchange, you are going to be golden. So during the 2015-16 academic year, I'm going through this with you now because I think summer is the perfect time for you to get a lot of your research under your belt. This theme is broad enough in scope to encourage investigation of topics ranging from local, such as within New Jersey or even within West Windsor Plainsboro, to world history and across the geographic area or time period. Don't find yourself focused on something so minute that you can't make these connections, guys. Consider this theme an invitation to look across time, space, and geography to find examples in history of when people looked to take a risk and made a change. I'm highlighting these particular areas because I think it's important for you to go through these as a researcher. Really investigate, go through, and do a close read on these topic sheets. You can begin brainstorming. So right there, they're telling you, brainstorm. What do I like to research? What areas, what spheres of influence are really interesting to me? Because this is a year-long research project. Think about it. You can begin brainstorming possible topics by thinking about a subject you are interested in. That is key, people. Something that you are interested in. This is your passion. You find something, and then you will not give up on it. Whether it's science, sports, art, travel, culture, or even specific people. I am a scientist. I would obviously try to focus in on an area of science that I adore. That may not be your thing, but if you're a musician and you want to go through music, go at it. Make note of any areas of interest, creating lists of possible subjects. I asked you to send me an annotated list. This is exactly what we're talking about. Start hashing out the ideas. Talk with your classmates, talk with your teachers, talk to the teachers that you really get along with and that you are passionate about the subject that they teach, because they can help you toss some ideas around. Throughout this process, keep in mind that your topic must relate to exploration, encounter, exchange, and history, and must be historical, not a current event. You want something that is demonstrating your understanding of historical thinking. This document from NHD is so helpful because it tells you a million ideas flood your mind when you think about exploration, encounter, and exchange, especially because they can mean many different things. So let's take a look at them one at a time. This is a great document to learn from. Exploration likely conjures up visions of travelers setting out on a journey to discover new lands. Okay, so it's giving you some suggestions. Consider the voyages. Consider Christopher Columbus. But I'm going to recommend that you don't pick something that stands out as such an obvious choice. I would like you all to choose your more obscure topics and something that is really going to work your higher order thinking skills. So I'll just keep highlighting here for you. This is what I would love for you to do. Mark up your documents. Exploration can also be examined in the field of science. Search for modes of movement. Okay? There are lots of things within this document that you should be highlighting as you go through it to find something that sticks out to you. Eat it, digest it, sleep on it, wake up the next morning and start thinking about it again. All right, so within the idea of encounter, exploration, of course, almost always leads to encounters with different people, unfamiliar environments, and new ideas. Encounters are often unexpected and unpredictable, and they reveal much about those involved. Take some time to think about what that actually is saying. So thinking about an encounter, it doesn't necessarily mean a one stop in time, a one point in time where this encounter took place. So many times encounters involve people and plants, animals that have not previously interacted. Think about all the times that we've talked about invasive species and how they have gotten to other countries because of global trade. That could be a topic that might interest you a lot if you're thinking about environmental science. As you keep reading, it says, consider encounters between the Romans and the Germanic tribes of Europe. How did the Mongols, Aztecs, and Incas interact with their neighbors? What factors influence whether a new encounter is seen as a positive change or a disastrous occurrence? They're asking you those specific questions, so you should have those in your mind as you start to go through the research yourself. As you're examining documents, you should look at both sides. Was this a positive exchange? Was it a disaster? What happened here during this encounter? They specifically tell you, consider the event from both sides and analyze the perspective of both the conquerors and the conquered. I just want to take a minute to pop back up here to where they say exploration does not need to be literal, because I think it's really important for me to emphasize this to you. Think of exploration as new ideas, concepts, and theories that are tested. When they're highlighting that information for you in this document, they're giving you the permission to think outside of the box. I'm encouraging you to think outside of the box. Are you noticing a trend here? Think outside of this box. Remember when I said to focus on all three: exploration, encounter, and exchange? Here's a perfect explanation here. It's impossible for any exploration encounter to not have some type of an exchange. Okay? You might exchange diseases. You might exchange ideas. Politics can be an area of dramatic exchange. And obviously, I do not want to highlight all of that information. This is the joy of being able to do it with Notable instead of doing it with a highlighting pen, but you wouldn't be highlighting like crazy maniacs anyway. So I've highlighted this particular paragraph because I want to remind you again, exchanges do not happen only in the physical realm. You're sharing ideas, beliefs, and customs, and there are consequences for all of the people and cultures involved. Consider the spread of the world religions. Sometimes the exchange of a new or controversial idea within a society can have a significant effect on how that society thinks or acts. They ask you a question. What changes occur within the society because of that exchange? Whenever they ask you a question within this document, you need to think as you're writing your paper or developing your exhibit and working on your research, what changes occurred because of that exchange? Not just physical, but an idea, a belief, or a custom. Okay, let's go down here. All three elements in this year's theme are closely related. I want to highlight this for you. You are not just reporting the past. You're investigating, searching, digging deeper into the research to thoroughly understand the historical significance of your topic and support your thesis. This is not a book report. You need to dig deep into the research. This is not an essay about your topic. You need to find primary and secondary sources. You need to interview experts. You need to set up time to go places and see these things. You need to interact with it. This is not a simple report. How many times have I asked you, either within NHD or an inquiry project, so what? Here you see it again. Your project should be able to answer the all-important question of, so what? Who cares? Why was your topic important? You need to be able to defend your research and help everyone understand why it is important, why we should study it, why it's important for us to understand its effects today. If you can answer all those questions in there, you're going to have a stellar year in NHD. There are some sample topics here. You do not need to go with any of them, but they're there for you to start with your brainstorming list. Good luck, and make sure you reach out as you're on your journey.